Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Art Array. I am your host, Nathan Crockett, author of My Soul Burned, aka the greatest story that has ever been written, according to my mom. Today's guest is Marina Van Terra.
Marina, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your book?
My book title is Mission Homo Liberatus: The Beginning. Here's a paperback, which is
Awesome.
available on Amazon. Um, uh, so I wrote this book first in Russian because this is my first language, and then I auto-translated it into English, and then I used the help of an editor, which is American editor actually.
Okay.
So this is the little background, and so Homo Liberatus is imaginary race. So the book is in the genre of historical fiction.
Okay.
The Homo Liberatus is an ancient race that originates from the legendary island of Lemuria. So there is a legend about island of Lemuria, and it says that people who lived there used to possess superpowers, teleportation, telekinesis, reading minds, healing all diseases. So that's what I made as a background for my story. And this race is actually a new different branch of evolution, let's say. So they evolve beyond Homo sapiens. So this is mission Homo Liberatus. So they have a mission, and the mission is to free Earth from energy vampires. And energy vampires are actually psychopaths who manipulate human fear, human suffering, and who thrive and feed on that. So that is the foundation, and this book is a first book of a trilogy. So it's proposed trilogy, which is why it's called Mission Homo Liberatus: The Beginning. That's the first book. There's a fiction, there is a fantasy and historical part of it, and fantasy part I just described. It is super people with superpowers, and there is a historical part. Historical part is inspired actually by not inspired, probably prompted by the start of Russian-Ukrainian conflict, which I have Russian and Ukrainian mixed background, and of course I take this conflict quite close to my heart.
Yeah.
What my belief is that this conflict, as well as we had pandemic before and all these things, which it's all organized by these energy vampires who they are real people, but I just reimagine them as energy vampires, obviously. The people who manipulate human fear, basically, and human suffering, and feed on it. So I believe there is no right or wrong as normal people. It's just people who actually want us to suffer. But I don't really mention any current affairs in the book. But instead, I take an example of a historical event, World War II, and the genocide of Belarusian population by Ukrainian Nazi collaborators. So we have, doesn't matter who you are, you basically can be energy vampire, whatever nationality you are, I'm trying to say. So that is a real historical event. It's like it was a prolonged event, obviously almost 2 years long. So how does this fantasy and history meet? Is that my protagonist is a hybrid character. So he is a son of Homo Liberatus man and a Belarusian peasant woman. And the name of protagonist is Jan, and his mother was burnt alive by Nazi collaborators alongside the whole entire population of a village of Hatyn, which is in Belarus, and that is a real, it's a real
Mhm.
event. So I made quite a deep research on this on this story of a story, and in the book I incorporated some, well, not some, quite a lot of documents, quotations from documents,
Okay.
from protocols of investigation. So uh, uh, this protagonist, Jan, he comes to he comes back to Belarus and tries to find the person, the vampire, energy vampire, who commanded the execution of his mother and other villagers. And this becomes a little bit of a detective as well. So he,
Okay.
yeah, so it's like a hunt, vampire hunting story, really. So this vampire, it's a real human. We're talking people who are just
Yeah.
vampirizing us as an energy wise, yeah, not the blood sucking. Yeah, so he finds this person thanks to two KGB officers. Then he returns in 1985, I have to mention. So this is when only a couple of weeks after Gorbachev came to power. So it's a little bit of a mess in the country, obviously, beginning. The story is set in Russia and Belarus and Ukraine. So it's like the locations are being swapped. So he sneaks into KGB archives, find these documents about Hatyn, and then calculates, finds out who is this person who commanded that battalion, Ukrainian Schutzmannschaft battalion, and basically they hunt him down. And there are some fantasy uh, elements as well, because he can reappear anyway. What I was trying to say is this Jan, the protagonist, he speaks from the first person. So the whole
Yeah.
story is written from the first person. It was quite interesting to think like an alien. It
Yeah.
was quite a fun experience for me. I think it worked out in the end. This this protagonist, he reads minds of everyone he meets. So basically, he can understand the psychology and what every character thinks, including this vampire. So I studied a bit of a psychopath psychology to uh, be able to get into in role of psychopath as well. So that's the story, and of course, he falls in love when
Yeah.
he in the process, and he falls in love with a teenage girl who has also some genetic ties to Homo liberatus, because they don't mind mixing and mating with Homo sapiens. So this is a lot of adventure, location change, and uh, what else? A love
Mhm.
and hunt and such. Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
wow, that's really interesting. I like the whole energy vampire thing. That's a really interesting concept.
Well, you know what my thinking is, that basically we encountered it every day.
Yeah.
We just don't think critically sometimes, and what I wanted to do is to actually prompt my readers to think a bit more critically about what is being imposed on us.
Yeah.
Uh, so the story is the background is historical, but actually it's prompted by the situation we are all in now. That's why obviously I didn't want to become the writer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So this is what I can say about my book in a nutshell. Let's say.
So the next question I have for you is: are you traditionally published, or did you do self-publishing?
I self-published. Actually, I did try just send to a few traditional agents, to traditional publishers. What I realized is basically, as a writer, you still have to do the job of marketing,
Yeah.
even if you're traditionally published, but you lose a lot of control over your work. And I just realized, I just thought, why do I need that? I
Mhm.
still have to do the same works.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt, and that's what I've been hearing most people say too. I just always ask because I'm just kind of curious. What do you think is something interesting about your book specifically that makes it different than other books like in your genre?
I think the mixture of genres,
Yeah.
uh, because I mentioned already it's a fantasy and history. So actually, I had some reviews already, and they say that you managed to marry very real history
Yeah.
with fantasy. Plus, it's a bit of a detective. So I think the eclectic part of the book is quite different. And reviewers say it's unexpected actually. It's
Yeah,
different.
because like at first when you mentioned like the historical fiction with like the superhero thing, I was kind of like, okay, but then when you also mentioned that it also sort of becomes a detective story, that's when I was sort of like, oh wow, this is kind of, incorporating everything. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so mixture of genres, I think.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of writers are using mixture, I think, these days.
Yeah,
But
but
I think I've mixed a lot.
yeah, I haven't quite heard that combination, so that's really interesting. So when I was doing a little research on you, I found out that you were a guest speaker at some events. Why don't you go and tell us a little bit about what that was like and how you set things like that up?
Well, I have done it twice, been
Mhm.
a guest speaker, and it was in measures of marketing my book.
Okay.
So I wasn't
Yeah.
a guest speaker for anything else. It's just for the book, and it was well. I'm generally I'm an introvert, and I'm always nervous when I have to speak publicly, and even now
Yes.
I'm a little nervous. But that especially the second event was very good because um, that's thanks to organizer
Mhm.
to a person who organized. I'm going to say her name, Thea Anderson. You can find her on LinkedIn if someone is or some other writers are interested, because she's great. She gathered a really good audience for me, so that was very important. When you go
Yeah.
as a guest speaker, you have to. It's very important to have a right audience who will be really interested, who will be into your topic, yeah, and she found really good, really right people for for
Yes.
for me, and I was quite nervous to start with, but actually uh, when it started and people started asking questions, and I saw the real interest, so yeah, I really had fun in the end.
Oh,
Although I
good.
was quite nervous to begin with.
Nice.
Yeah, but in regards to sales, I know you wanted to ask if it helps sales, yeah,
Mhm.
as being a guest speaker. Yeah, of course, and that was like a book signing event, by the way. So I brought
Okay.
in a pile of books and just signed signed a book for every uh, visitor and for every attendee. In regards to helping with sales, I don't think these kind of events help with sales. I think it helps to spread the word of a mouth,
Mhm.
because when someone meets the reader meets the writer in person, it's a little bit different when you just pick up a book
Yeah.
by annotation, by blurb. So um, I wouldn't say it really boosted the sales, but I had the people who attended my this event, they actually then spread information on their LinkedIn as a post. So they
Yeah.
made posts on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So that was quite useful, I think.
Mhm.
And anyway, I had fun even being
Oh,
there.
that's good. What is your overall goal as a writer?
Well, the title of book is Mission Homo Liberatus. Yes, so there is a mission, obviously, and I mentioned earlier that I think people, or everyone
Mhm.
talking about, need to start thinking for themselves a bit more.
Mhm.
And I didn't mention in the beginning. So when the characters, this race of Homo liberatus, they got rid of fear by having superpowers. They
Mhm.
got rid of fear, right? So they eliminated fear at a genetic level, right? And
Okay.
I'm just thinking so much bad stuff is in the world happens because people just fear.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get people to get the audience who the readers to start thinking of what we fear, who makes us fear, a bit more critical thinking, and which is what my goal is, I think, to
Okay.
start kind of to start thinking a bit liberate to become liberated in our minds.
Yeah. Well, that's a good goal.
I started the second book already of a trilogy, and it goes even deeper into the goal.
And then my next question is, do you use an outline?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because this plot and the plot of my future books plots, I know what they're going to be about, obviously, but
Mhm.
they are very complex. So
Mhm.
if I don't use outline, then I will be totally drowned.
It's refreshing to hear because, like, I always find it sort of weird when certain authors kind of see outlined as something like evil or like a
No,
stifle of creativity or whatever. It's just like, no, it's just kind of there to help, you know?
I'm actually a planner, I'm
Yeah.
genuinely a planner, so that's a plan.
Yeah.
How can you write a big book without having a plan? This is silly. I
Some
mean,
people
I'm a
prefer.
literature teacher as well, I have to say. So I teach
Oh, okay.
literature for living. Therefore, I kind of, I'm quite structured
Yeah.
mind.
So this is actually something I haven't asked any of my guests yet. How do you feel about the 10,000 hour rule? And for anyone,
Uh,
just hold on one
uh,
second, just for anyone watching
100%.
who doesn't know, the 10,000 hour rule is basically the theory that you can't really master something unless you've been doing it for at least 10,000 hours.
I actually have seen it in practice and in at many levels. And
Mhm.
if you haven't asked it before, it's a good topic to explore for
Yes.
your audience because I am a musician as well, so I play
Mhm.
piano and teach literature and write all these things. They are skills,
Yes.
and I can tell 100% the more you do anything
Yeah.
skill related, the better you become.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is 10,000 probably is that level where you definitely become a specialist.
Yeah. Like I feel it's probably not like an exact thing, but I do know again, sometimes it's a little frustrating to me is like when I hear people will say like, "Oh, I wasn't really a writer, but then I had this idea and I wrote the book in like 3 months." It's like, I mean, it's probably I mean, I
The
don't want to be like
quality of a
crapping on
book is the
anybody, but it's probably
question.
not good, you know?
The quality is the question. I have to say
Yeah.
how I worked on my book because it's like 500 pages volume. So when I can tell even from beginning to end when I started the book and I even wrote the first draft, and when I worked on it a long time. I didn't
Mhm.
do it for 3 months. I did it for 3 years.
Yeah.
It took me 3 years, and in 3 years, I improved my own text. I can even tell. So when the editor was working with my text, he said the book is in such a good state that guess what? He offered me a proofreading for free in addition to the line editing I paid for because there's not much live line editing had to
Oh,
be done.
oh,
So,
okay.
but it was not the case in the beginning when I only started my book. So
Exactly.
I can tell I literally learned a lot by writing the book.
And like I said, I don't say that to like kind of crap on anybody. I'm just more so trying to encourage people that if you are going to publish, like do the work, like really
Yeah,
go for
homework.
it. Because with my book, you had mentioned 3 years. My first one took about 2 years, and then my second one that I did took 3 years. So,
How many do you get? Have you got? How
so
many?
far I have two. I only have one published, and
Mm-hmm.
it's because I'm saving up money to get the other one edited because I just can't afford it right now, and it needs it. I published the first one without
It
doing
is
the
expensive.
professional editing, and I kind of regret that a little bit. It sort of works in that one because that one's kind of like a journal style, so it sort of makes
Mm-hmm.
sense that it's not totally edited. But with the other one, I'm like, no, I definitely need to get it edited first. So I'm hoping to do that soon because I really want it to be released because it is really good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's easier to market two books as opposed to one. So I'm kind of
Do you know actually you are a native English speaker, so obviously you can kind of fiddle with English, but I'm not a native English speaker, so I definitely felt I can't let the English version out without have an editor, because that would be rubbish, honestly. But he apparently it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, because he said it was in a good shape.
I didn't think about that. Like I tried learning Spanish before and I couldn't do it. So I couldn't imagine writing a book in a different language. That's
Well,
Really
I
quite the
translated
accomplishment.
my own writing from Russian, so Russian is my first. Plus, I'm Russian literature teacher, so
Yeah,
that was a translation. It was not as like writing from scratch, but still.
oh, that's true. But still. So other than your writing, what do you like to do for fun?
Okay, well, I have to say writing is my the first thing I like to do for fun, because I teach for living, and when you are with people, you teach, and when it's all you talk, and then it's such a joy to just dive into your imagination. Goodbye world, this is
Yes.
fantastic feeling when it's actually therapeutic. I also play piano, classical piano, so I like to learn a new piece now and then, and going to classical concerts. I'm not very sociable, but when I have friends, when I meet friends, I like this deep conversation. So I would rather be with right person, by myself, rather than with somebody who is not the right person for me.
Yeah.
And then do you have any secrets as far as marketing or
Well, do you know, actually, I don't think I'm at that stage of being a writer,
Mhm.
which I can call myself a writer now after
Well,
3 years.
absolutely.
I've written a non-fiction book before as well, so it's my second book as well. But uh, as I don't think I have. Uh, I can't share any secrets as because I'm not an expert yet. But
It's
I just think, one thing is, sometimes we feel stuck emotionally. With a creative work. I think this is familiar thing to all creative people, when you just get stuck. Not because you run out of ideas, because the mood is not right. So one thing is, just step back a little bit, give it time, and find the right setting for your for your inspiration. I do you know, a lot of this book is actually written in a swim thing, created, not written, obviously, created in a swimming pool, because I swim. And I go
okay.
swimming, it's up and down, it's boring. So I swim and my mind is working. So I said to myself, okay, let's think of this chapter, about this chapter. And actually, I had quite a few good ideas, not when I was sitting and writing
Mhm.
by the computer, but elsewhere on my walk, on the swim, on the journey. So I think sometimes we just have to digest it and step back. Well, I think this is quite important. It's not a secret. I think many people
Yeah.
know. It's just something that I do.
yeah. Well, I appreciate the honesty. That's good. So it's funny though too. You mentioned like having ideas when you were swimming. Like if I tried that, I'd probably drown because I would just get so caught up in the idea I'd forget to swim.
No,
I
no, I
couldn't do
don't
that.
dive. I just swim. I'm like a amateur swim. I don't dive really. So my head is out.
Uh,
Out of
but still, like I would probably just be thinking of something and all of a sudden just sort of
really. L- Yeah, literally half of the Homo liberatus is made up in the swimming pool.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's good that you found something that works and you're exercising too. So I mean, that's like double good.
What exercising except swimming doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I just can't. When I just get overstressed and it's hot and
All right, well, we're about to wrap up here, but was there any questions you have for me or anything else you wanted to add?
What is the goal? What is your goal of this channel?
The main reason why I started it was to try and help promote my book because, like I said, when I have other guests on, then anyone that's their audience will get a chance to see me. And then when I post it, anyone that's in my audience will get to see them. So that was really my main motivation behind it was just trying to promote my book. But then as I was, thinking about it, it's like not only is it just gonna potentially help me with my book, but I think it's just sort of a cool idea that nobody else is really doing.
Most
I
of the
would say it's a sort of missionary as well, missionary idea, that
Yes.
you actually can help others and spread information. So this is fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah. So I'm hoping that'll help people. And like I said, I think it's kind of interesting the fact that I do different types of artists, because like most
Oh, that's
podcasts or
fantastic. You
whatever.
can't just do writers.
Yeah. So most other people just kind of have the one thing. So I think it makes it a little harder to get exposure, but I think it's kind of cooler at the same time. So we'll see what happens. Like,
Great. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again.
oh, no
Thank
problem.
you.
You have a good day.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye.
Once again, I hope you're all enjoying these. If not, any feedback is welcome. Thanks for being here.